All right, as we bring in our guest, Siddesh Lad, who's an Indian cricketer, Mumbai Ranji team captain and also a Mumbai Indians player. Also Kishore Bhimani, a legend for those who follow cricket. Nikhil Naz, my former colleague and somebody who's just written a book on the 1983 World Cup, which you should check out because it's hilarious. All right, I want to start with Siddesh because Siddesh, we're just looking at our information on the weather, and for both the match day and the reserve day, rain is forecast. 10 a.m. time, match start time is 33%. Before that, 2 hours is 51%. But the end of the match is about 29%. On the reserve day, it's even more. But what do you know about Manchester that you can tell us that we shouldn't be worried about, or should we be worried about?
Hi Amitosh. Yeah, Manchester is somewhere little north in England, and I think it's English summer again. So we can't predict anything. But I think in Manchester the ball seems a bit initially, and but again we have had some high scoring games.
Okay, Nikhil, same question for you.
I think, Amitoj, if there's one ground in the entire England that New Zealand would have loved to have played a semi-final in, it would be Old Trafford. We saw a few low-scoring games in this World Cup, but then towards the latter part of the game that we saw, we got some good batting wickets. What I'm getting to know from Manchester, you can expect another good batting surface. But then you talk about the weather, and in England, weather plays a very, very important role. Now, if the conditions are overcast as they are expected, now those are the sort of conditions that Trent Boult and company would absolutely love. So I think it then really balances the entire match out. It'd be a dilemma for Virat Kohli what to do, because traditionally, and even if you listen to his press conference, it comes out very clearly that this is the Indian team that loves to bat first. He's made it very clear that chasing in a World Cup is going to be a lot of pressure. But then at the back of his mind, he's going to remember that warm-up game where they decided to play fast. The conditions were really helping the Boult and company, and it really, put India on the back foot, losing those early wickets. So it's going to be a catch-22 situation. What is it that Virat is going to do? But I think because it's a knockout game and because the weather is the way it is, I think he'd be still tempted to bat first and just hope that his, opener spend some time on the wicket, and once the conditions get easy, get a big total and then put New Zealand under pressure.
Mr. Bhimani, you followed the game forever. I'm sorry, but this just looks like a perfect setting for New Zealand, not India.
No, not really, Amitoj. This is, in fact, the Old Trafford has presented a belter. We've had a lot of runs scored here. Now, we are playing on a new strip. But I don't see why the wicket should change its fundamental character. It has become a belter. It has become a batsman's wicket. There is not much seam movement. Okay. And we've seen throughout the World Cup, there has not been very much swing. Now, Indians thrive under those conditions. They are not worried about people like, you think people like Kohli and Rohit are worried about pace? Or Rahul. Rahul has got a very fine approach to quick bowling. So does Hardik Pandya. Now, I don't think that's going to matter. Indians are going to play as well as any team here.
Okay, good. That's good news. I'm happy about that. Okay, now let's just get down to, I think, the problem of plenty, the happy headache, whatever you want to call it. And I'll start with Nikhil. Nikhil, Virat was at the press conference and somebody was framing a question. A journalist was just about to start framing a question which looked like he was going to ask him, what do you think should be the ideal playing 11? So Virat said, I'm so glad you didn't ask me about the ideal playing 11. Yeah. It's not a happy headache. I don't think it's a happy headache because 7 players select themselves, but the remaining 4 you don't know.
Well, he said that also because he's been asked this question multiple times during this World Cup. What do you think is the ideal playing 11? So, in a way, he expressed that relief, saying, oh, finally, you didn't ask me what the ideal playing 11 is. Yes, they've been experimenting. As you were saying, it is a bit of a headache. But I think the Indian team would still be happy to be in a position like that because they have plenty of options to look at. I mean, if you were to just look at indications, and that is something that we journalists do very often. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. Seems like he may still stick with those 5 bowlers. When I say 5, I'm counting Hardik Pandya. In fact, when the World Cup started, everyone said India is going in with 4.5 bowlers, counting Hardik as half. But then Hardik has been outstanding. He's been bowling his quota of 10 overs and also been picking wicket. Seems like they've been going in 5 bowlers, but if you would ask my personal opinion, I think 6 bowlers is the perfect thing for the Indian team.
So you're saying Dinesh Karthik plays or Kedar Jadhav plays?
No, I would get a Ravindra Jadeja instead of a Dinesh Karthik. Then you've got two spinners. So between Kuldeep Yadav and Chahal, you pick one and then play 4 fast bowlers. That includes Hardik Pandya, the 3 other fast bowlers. Those 6 bowlers, I think, would be India's best attack.
Okay,
and
that's
then
what you
Jadeja
would do.
coming in,
Okay.
Yeah, would
Okay,
be a
that's
bit of
what
a
you would
balance,
do. Siddesh, what would you do?
Well, I think I would first like to see the wicket, what the wicket is like. Obviously, it won't change much. You know, we have been watching some high-scoring games. So, me as a captain, I would always like to go with 5 bowlers because, you know, the wicket is good. If I have options in bowling, you know, I have that upper hand.
When you say 5 bowlers, this is inclusive of Hardik or not?
No, this is not including Hardik. I would play 3 pacers.
Okay, I'm not going to put you in the spot and ask you about your friends. A lot of them you've played with, so I won't say who you are going to pick over who. Mr. Bhimani, I'll give you that privilege. Go ahead.
Okay. I would consider Hardik, say if you consider him half a bowler, I would in any case go with Ravindra Jadeja.
Wow.
Ravindra Jadeja is an all-rounder, he's a good fielder, he's a bits and pieces player, but he has got the temperament which can be very useful in a semi-final. Between him and Hardik, they can bowl the rest. The quick bowlers, I am in no doubt that I'd play both Bhuvi and Shami. And so 2 quick bowlers there, there's, I'm sorry, Kuldeep, Shami and Bumrah. Now, the third person, we can play one of the 2, either Bhuvi or Shami. So, 2 there, 1 spinner and one wrist spinner is all.
Okay.
And I would not like to risk Chahal on the Old Trafford pitch. And I'd definitely play, somebody like Pant. And because these 2 are, today there are high scoring batsmen, both
right.
Pant and Hardik Pandya. And we can't rely on Dhoni as a finisher. So that would be my 11.
Okay. Bharat Sundaresan also joining us from Manchester. He was at the press conference also where all this happened. And since you brought up Dhoni, I will come to Dhoni. But Bharat, first give us the weather report. What's it looking like? The weather is saying that there's going to be 50% rain at 8 in the morning. And that is scary. And that's for both days. In fact, reserve day is even worse.
Yeah, but it does look cloudy, Amitoj, but I think it's not looking as bad as everybody's making it out, to be honestly. So I think we will get a game tomorrow itself. It will be a problem if it goes into the reserve day. But I think we will get a problem. We will get a game tomorrow.
Okay, and what's your playing 11 from what you saw at the practice? Which of the not confirmed players were actually looking like they are going to play?
Because
yeah, it's good.
Can you hear me, Bharat? Okay, we'll try to get that line. Okay, let me just go back to that aspect of this what Mr. Bhimani was talking about when he said Dhoni. Nikhil, I want to ask you this. There was not a single question from the press box about MS Dhoni's issue of perhaps a lack of intent towards hitting. You may agree or disagree, but the question, should it be posed or not?
Well, it was posed, Amito. In fact, Virat's answered this question, not in this game, but, the games before this, and especially after the England game, also he was asked this question. So I guess the journalists who are present there have already got their answers. Virat's made it clear in those couple of times that he's been asked about MS Dhoni's role, saying that MS knows exactly what he's doing. The team has faith in him. So, there's no more talking about that. So this question has been asked to him, just that wasn't asked ahead of this game, because nothing much has changed from those last few games that he was asked a question about.
Okay, but in this semi-final situation, which is completely different from a league stage, what is your ideal positioning of MS Dhoni, and how would you strategize using him?
Well, it will also depend on how the top order goes, and we've seen it. If you end up losing some quick wickets, then you need someone like MS Dhoni to come and consolidate. If you've got a great start, then you send Hardik ahead of MS Dhoni and try to maximize as many runs as you can get. So I think this is the formula that the Indian team has been using during this World Cup, and they'll continue to using. I think MS Dhoni will play a very, very important role. We keep talking about 350, but we've seen a few games in this World Cup have been 280 games. I'm just saying a hypothetical situation, and this is a situation that's given to everyone, that what if India have reached a good position, great start, how will we reach 350 with MS playing there? I'd just like to change that. What if India were 104, if they've lost 4 wickets for 100 runs, who would you want at the crease there? I think that's an MS Dhoni you would want. I don't think a Pant, a Hardik or a Dinesh Karthik, anyone can from there take you to 280. One man who can is MS Dhoni, and you might just need him in a crunch game if the situation demands.
Mr. Bhimani, your thoughts on the fact that the journalists didn't think that they should ask the question before a semi-final about MS Dhoni. And yes, Nikhil's right. Sometimes we journalists are at press conferences and it happens that we have already asked that question and we know the answer that we're going to get, so we don't ask it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to tell you that, Amit, that this, if I was at the press conference with Kohli in the chair, I know that if I ask him, what about Dhoni slowing down? He said he's not slowing down. He's a fantastic player. He's very useful to the team. He's great servant of Indian cricket and all the other things. We know what we are going to get. So what's the point of asking that? Also, semi-final, let's join ranks. Let's go together, and why create unpleasantness? Kohli will not like this. So that's it.
Okay. Siddesh, your favorite story of MS Dhoni that can throw some light on him?
Again, I would talk something about MS Dhoni, that he's been a legend. He's been serving Indian cricket for a long time. He has played many high pressure games. He's been playing every ICC event. So I think he knows what he does, and he's the most experienced. So we can't really comment on that. But I think India should make the most of MSD in semi-final, final. I think if he comes little early to bat, he know how to place the game and how to take it till the last over.
Okay, Nikhil, I'm going to ask you a fun question. You and I were covering the 2011 World Cup. I remember you were in Mumbai when the 2011 World Cup final was on, and I was reporting right here from studio. I want to ask you a simple question. The euphoria that was there at that time for Sachin Tendulkar, I don't even think 10% of that is there for MS Dhoni. Do you think that's unfair to the legend that is MS Dhoni?
Well, not at all. In fact, Amitoj, this is something that we were discussing the other day while I was doing my other programming with a few former cricketers as well. And this is an observation that everyone had, looking at IPL as well. The kind of reception that MS is getting when he comes out to bat, and I'm talking about IPL as well as World Cup. There have been occasions that, the Indian fans are actually cheering the wicket. So because MS Dhoni is coming out to bat, so they're happy for the other guy who's got out, even though he's an Indian player. And that sort of reception he's been getting throughout. Even
no, but that's what's happening at the stadium. I mean, inside India, that buzz is missing. That this could be his last World Cup.
I'll tell you why. Because I think with Sachin Tendulkar at the time, Sachin hadn't won a World Cup, and Sachin had quite often come out and said that that's his one dream, and he had achieved everything possible in international cricket. And everyone knew that's his last chance to achieve that one dream that he had. Now, if you were to take a look at MS Dhoni, he of course would want to win another World Cup, but he's already got one under his belt. So it's not just that one lasting dream that he has. So that probably is the context that's really missing. Also, people with Sachin, they didn't know whether they'll get to see him after that or not. With MS, you don't know whether you'll see him in international cricket or not, and no one knows other than MS, but you definitely might just see him playing the IPL. So fans are still hopeful that they'll get to see a lot of MS Dhoni. It's not the last time they're actually seeing him on the field.
Now, not many would know that Siddesh Lad's father, Dinesh Lad, is the coach of Rohit Sharma, the man who has broken every record there is to break at this World Cup. So, Siddesh, you've seen him as a kid growing up and playing for Mumbai also, because he's your captain there in Mumbai. At the Mumbai Indians. But there was a question that was asked of Kane Williamson, what would their plan be to get Rohit Sharma out? And he said he's a fabulous player, blah, 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 but then he didn't answer it. Does that mean he doesn't have a plan? Or does that mean that he doesn't want to tell us what the plan is? Or it's actually that nobody can have a plan for Rohit Sharma right now?
I think it's true, the way he's playing in this World Cup, and, he's in great space. and we know what potential he has, what he has done throughout the years, and about his form. So I think every team has tried each and everything against him, but he's been scoring hundreds at ease. So I think there will be some points the team will come. They might bowl up to him, but I think he's prepared for that.
Okay, Rohit, Nikhil, quickly, you want to make a point?
Yeah, I just want to tell you about the plan how to get Rohit Sharma. It's pretty simple. Just catch the catches that you get. I'm forgetting my count. I think those 300 or 400s that he's got, were chances that went by. So you just catch hold of the ball. That's one thing. But seriously, if you were to really look at the plan, I think the best plan for him is the weapon that New Zealand has in Trent Bolt. If there is one little weakness, and there are very few weaknesses in Rohit Sharma, that's that one ball with the left-hander, if it's coming in, can get him out. And Trent Bolt has been one of those rare bowlers in this World Cup who's getting the ball to swing. If he does get that ball in and try to get Rohit early, Rohit himself has said that once he gets a lot of runs, it's going to be only him who can get him out by making a mistake. The bowler can't. So the only time you can get him is early on. If that ball comes in by a left-hander, that could be it.
Okay, everyone quickly with the percentage of winning, percentage chances. India versus New Zealand. Mr. Bhimani, you go first, no explanation.
100 versus nil.
Okay,
I think
Siddesh?
India is a shoe-in tomorrow. Whichever way you look at it, it's a fantastic team in great form. There's not.
Okay, Siddesh?
I think I wouldn't like to underestimate New Zealand because we have seen that they have done really well in the ICC tournaments and they have a good temperament as a team.
What's your percentage?
I would go with 60 with India and 40 with New Zealand.
Okay, great. Nikhil, yours?
Yeah,
60 with
somewhere
India
around there,
and 40 with New Zealand.
70-30, I'd say, in favor of India.
30. Okay, Nikhil is a champion at understanding what the odd makers are doing, and that's exactly what the odd makers are saying, 70 to 30. Nikhil is always on that. I can tell you, I've been following him. He always does this. He always makes us bet on it, and we always lose whatever it is that we actually bet on. Thanks so much for that, Nikhil, Mr. Bhimani, and Siddesh. Appreciate you joining us. Best of luck to India. Best of luck to all you guys.